Ayan. Okay, so live na ako sa aking YouTube channel. Hello there, hello everyone. So today's lesson, I will teach you how to find the limit by substitution, by factorization, and by conjugation. Kasi take note that direct substitution is not applicable all the time. Okay? Hindi siya true to all. Okay? Ang direct substitution is not true to all. So let's start with our first example. Our first example that involves direct substitution. Okay? So with this kind of function, you can easily do direct substitution kasi actually ang siya, basic function lang man yan siya. Okay? So pwede mo siya direct substitution. So you have here 3 times 0. The value of our x is 0. So 3 times 0 raised to 4 minus 2 times 0 minus 1. Okay, so you can substitute it directly. The value of our x, which is 0. Okay. Next, you have 3 times 0 raised to 4 is 0 minus 1. That means negative 1 is the limit. Again, the value of our limit is negative 1. So, ganyan lang kadali ang direct substitution. And let's have another example. Okay. So in this kind of example, so medyo for sure magda-doubt kayo if this example applicable ba yung direct substitution. Okay? So medyo mag-doubt kayo no kasi if applicable ba yung direct substitution. Now class, based sa given function, pwede siya direct substitution. Why? Try to substitute the value of our x sa denominator. Again, try to substitute the value of x sa denominator. Di ba? Hindi siya magiging 0. Tama? Your x will be substituted to your denominator, or should I say, focus. Focus sa denominator. So, dili magiging 0 ang denominator. So, that means, pag dili maging 0 ang denominator, then you can perform direct substitution. Again, pag hindi ma-0 ang denominator, you can perform direct substitution. But in this example ito, wala may denominator siya pero 1, pero nothing to be substituted with your denominator. So, pag ganito ang case, walang masasubstitute sa denominator, you can apply direct substitution. But in this example, there exists a denominator, but if you are going to substitute your denominator, ang x sa ating denominator rather, it will not turn to 0. If hindi siya maging 0, that means direct substitution is applicable. So let's start. X is 2. 2 plus 1. So that means the value of x is 2/3. So ganyan na kadali. The value of our x is 2/3. Okay. Sir, what if ma-0 para ang denominator? What if ma-0 para ang denominator? Now, class, if ma-0 ang denominator, do not conclude directly na undefined siya. Again, if ma-0 ang denominator, do not conclude directly na mag-undefined siya. Kasi there are still ways to make the function, to make the limit of the function exist. Yes, may paraan pa, which I am going to discuss later. The factorization and conjugation. So yun. So let's proceed to our third example. Okay, so we have here the given limit, square root of x squared plus 3x minus 6 as x approaches to negative 2. So in this case, you can directly substitute the value of your x. Yes, you can substitute the value of x here. So you have, so our x is negative 2 plus 3 times negative 2 minus 6. Yan. The negative 2 squared, it's negative 2 squared. We have 4. Positive 3 times negative 2, then minus 6. So you have square root of negative 8. Okay, square root of negative 8. And take note, take note that ang square root of negative 8, that's, di ba, i-try nyo sa calculator nyo, it will lead you to have a math error answer. Kasi class, remember, square root, the index is 2. The answer is undefined. Kasi walang real root. Okay? The index is 2. Square root man, square root. So 2 ang index. The radicand is negative. So that means the answer for this one is undefined. And pag sinabi kong undefined ang sagot, automatically the answer is D and E. The limit does not exist. Yan. Again, pag undefined ang sagot, the answer is D and E. In this case, square root of negative 8 is undefined. No real root. Okay? No real root. So that means the final answer should be D and E. The limit does not exist. And for our last example, example for direct substitution, we have here. So in this example, okay, focus sa denominator. Okay, in this example, focus sa denominator. Now, our x is 2. Our x is 2. Substitute 2 sa ating denominator. Maging 0 ba? Our x is 2. Substitute sa denominator, maging 0 ba? Okay. Hindi maging 0 ang denominator. Again, hindi maging 0 ang denominator. That means you can apply direct substitution. Okay? You can apply direct substitution. You have here square root of 2 times 2 plus 5 over 1 minus 3 times 2. Yan. So you have square root of 4 plus 5 over 1 minus 6. So you have here square root of 9 over negative 5. So the answer is negative 3 over 5 or negative 0.6. That's the answer. Okay? Let me erase muna. Gamon na ako. Or negative 0.6. Okay? Ganyan lang kadali ang direct substitution. Okay? Ganyan lang kadali ang direct substitution. Basta ang clue nyo lang sa direct substitution, pag may focus lang sa denominator. Again, if walang denominator, if wala kayong denominator, then pag kagaya nito, you can directly perform direct substitution. Kagaya nito, wala ang denominator. Our example letter B and letter D, meron silang denominator. So focus sa denominator. Then substitute the value of your x sa denominator. Substitute the value of your x sa denominator. Now, if your denominator will turn 0, you can find another ways pa. Okay? You can find another ways like factorization or conjugation, which I am going to discuss after this one. But if your denominator, mali, sa paglingon. Again, if your denominator will turn to 0, do not conclude directly. Dili po siya ma-apply ang direct substitution. Again, if your denominator will turn to 0, direct substitution is not applicable. You can perform factorization or conjugation. Pero pag dili siya mahimong 0, that means you can apply direct substitution. Again, pag hindi maging 0 ang denominator, you can perform direct substitution. So, ganun lang. So, So let me erase. Erase ko na. Okay. Napoy baka na dungag. Oh, hi fans. Thank you for thank you for joining sa akong my only fans. My only fans. Sige. So this time, let's have an example. No, someone si Jildaya. Okay. So limit by indeterminate forms. Before ko mag-start na example, let's have a review first. Number over 0, the answer is undefined. Okay? Number over 0, any number except 0. Again, any number except 0 divided by 0 is undefined. 0 over 0 is indeterminate. Okay, again, number over 0 is undefined. 0 over 0 is indeterminate. So please take note of that one. So ito na yung example in which direct substitution is not applicable. Again, ito na yung example in which direct substitution is not applicable. Let's have our first example. Yan. X plus 5 over x squared minus 5 as x approaches to negative 5. Now, class, focus sa denominator. If you're going to substitute the value of our x here, our x is negative 5. If you're going to substitute, if we are going to perform direct substitution, you have here negative 5 plus 5 over negative 5 minus 5. Negative 5 squared minus 25 is equal to 0 over 0, and that is indeterminate. Diba? Or if you're going to substitute your negative 5 sa denominator, it will turn 0. Now, as you have observed, indeterminate siya. Class, this process is wrong. Again, in this process, ito, mali na siya. This is a wrong process. Wrong. Okay, sir. Sir, bakit? Sir, bakit? Kasi, if you're going to, if you're going to directly substitute the value of our x sa ating denominator, it will turn 0. At ano ang sinabi ko kanina? Na if ma-0 gani ang denominator, do not conclude that the limit does not exist. Kasi there are still ways to make the limit of that function exist. May possibility pa rin na mag-i-exist ang limit nila. Kagaya nito, di ba naging 0 siya, 0 over 0, tama? Pero do not conclude already that the limit does not exist. Kasi may paraan pa, may ways pa. Okay, may paraan para makuha ang limit. So I should write my solution now. Let's have the correct solution. So you have, anong gawin nyo sa denominator? Ang gagawin nyo sa denominator is you are going to factor out. Again, ang gagawin nyo sa denominator is that you are going to factor out. You need to make it sure na tama ang pag-factor ninyo. Please review your lesson about factoring. Again, please review your lesson about factoring. So you have the factor of this one, x plus 5, x minus 5. O diba? Anong sabi ko? Na ay ma-cancel. Ang maiwan, 1 over x minus 5. Yan, ilang naiwan. And then, after this one, ito, you can directly substitute the value of x. Again, you can directly substitute the value of x, which is negative 5. So 1 over negative 5 minus 5. The answer is 1 over negative 10. Or is equal to negative 1 over 10 or. And this is the answer. Okay? So ganyan ang process ha pag one of the indeterminate forms using factorization. Okay? So ito yun siya ang limit by indeterminate form, indeterminate, my God. Okay, ito yung process ng limit by indeterminate forms using factorization. Again, ito yung limit by indeterminate forms using factorization. Copy before we will proceed to another example. Okay, let's proceed to another example. Okay, let's have another example. Ito. The limit of x cubed plus 8 as x approaches to negative 2. The limit of x cubed plus 8 over x plus 2 as x approaches to negative 2. So ito yun siya. And class, if you're going to perform direct substitution dito, again, if you're going to perform direct substitution, negative 2 plus 2, maging 0 ang denominator. Okay? Maging 0 ang denominator. So, oops, stop. Huwag mo na mag-conclude na DNA ang sagot. Kasi, pwede pa siya, there are possibilities pa na ma-factor pa siya. Again, there are possibilities pa na ma-factor pa siya. Kagaya nito, the factor of your numerator, again, the factor of your numerator, you have x plus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 4. This is the factor of your numerator. Right? This is the factor of your numerator. Then, copy the denominator. Makancel. Ang naiwan, x squared minus 2x plus 4. After this process, you can perform direct substitution na. Pwede na siya ma-substitute. So you have negative 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2 plus 4. You have 4 plus 4 plus 4. The answer is 12. So yan. So the limit is 12. Diba? Dali lang. So ganun. Before that, I will give you clues or something, ideas about this kind of ito, kaning mga cube then another cube. Bigyan ko kayo ng idea. Okay? Ilagay ko dito yung mga some techniques. X cube minus 1, this is x minus 1, then x squared plus x plus 1. X cubed plus 1, this is x plus 1, x squared minus x plus 1. Ito yung factor nila. Okay, so bibigyan ko na kayo ng ganitong like this will be your task. You need to discover bakit paano siya i-factor by observing this one. Okay? Bibigyan ko kayo ng task na i-discover bakit ito yung factor niya. So 4 naman, x cubed plus naman ang 8, tapos na ang 8. X cubed minus 8, we have x minus 2, then x squared minus 2, plus 2x plus 4. Kung 27 naman, x cubed plus 27, this is x plus 3, x squared minus 3x plus 9, then x cubed minus 27, x minus 3, x squared plus 3x plus 9. Next, x cubed minus 64, x minus 4, x squared plus 4x plus 16. Then, x cubed plus 64, x plus 4, x squared minus 4x plus 16. So, ganun. Actually, marami pang iba. There are lot, marami pang iba. So, kayo na ang mag-discover sa iba. Yan. Okay. So, this is the process. This is the process on how to get the limit of an indefinite forms by using factorization. Okay? By using factorization. So, ganyan. This time, we are going to proceed to conjugation. Ang conjugation medyo mahirap siya. Again, ang conjugation medyo mahirap siya. So, laban lang tayo sa conjugation kasi medyo mahirap siya. So, this time, let's have an example. Limit by indeterminate forms using conjugation. Hello? Wala. Biyak din ako daw. Dili ko sure. Sige. Text ako sa mga. Sige. Timoli mo po niya. Okay. Conjugation na tayo, yes. Yan. Okay? So this example, still part of limit by indeterminate forms. Again, this example is part by limit by indeterminate forms. But as you have observed, this one, factorization is conjugation is applicable. Okay, pwede ang conjugation ay na process. And also direct substitution is not applicable. Again, in this process, direct substitution is not applicable. Why? 9 minus 9, 0. Maging 0 ang denominator. So you cannot perform direct substitution. How about factorization, sir? Kung i-factor nyo mo siya, class, ma-factor pa. Actually, if you are going to undergo higher context or concept of factorization, ma-factor pa siya. Yeah, ma-factor pa ni siya. Even kani ma-factor pa ni siya. if you're going to perform higher concept of factorization, which wala siya na-discuss during high school. Wala siya na-discuss. So, we are not going to use that one. Ang ato lang gamiton karon is conjugation. So, sir, saan ang conjugation? Ang conjugation na concept is ganito. Nakay something i-multiply. Okay? There's something naka-i-multiply dire sa given function. Actually, ang i-multiply mo dire na part is yan. Ang i-multiply mo is square root of x plus 3. The same terms, dapat, the same terms, but opposite in sign. Ang isa minus, ang isa plus. Again, the same terms, but opposite sign. Okay, class, ay sir nga nang dili pwede x minus 9 ang gamiton. Bakit hindi pwede x minus 9 ang gamiton? Pag x minus 9 mangod class, walay ma-factor. Kung si x minus 9 imong gamiton, walay ma-factor ani. Pero pag si x, square root of x plus 3 ang gamiton, na ay ma-factor. Again, the rule, opposite sign dapat. Same terms, but opposite sign. Again, same terms, but opposite sign. Pero ano kanilang gamiton? Because na siya ma-factor later, na ay ma-cancel later. Pero kung kanina mangot ang basis na to, walay ma-cancel. Walay ma-cancel. So let's have this process. So multiply. Over x minus 9, then square root of x plus 3. And class, you know the numerator, di ba? The same sila, the same. That is a concept of sum and difference, di ba? The same. Ang sign lang, the sign between them ang nagkaiba. That is a concept of sum and difference. So to multiply that one, easily, ano siya, multiply. Square root of x times square root of x, that's x. Then minus, because negative times positive is negative. Then 3 times 3, 9. Again, sir, ngano ingana ang pag-multiply ng sa sir? Ngano ingana imong process sa FOIL method? Kasi class, this is a concept of sum and difference. The concept of sum and difference is that the factor of it is that the same terms but opposite sign. Diba? As you have observed, parehas. Square root of x, 3, 3. The sign between the terms na ang magkaiba, ang isa minus, ang isa plus. That is sum and difference. So if you are going to multiply that one, ing-ani na lang siya. Diretso, shortcut niya. But if you are going to perform FOIL method, the same gihapon ng answer. Mo arrive gihapon of x minus 9. Again, pag FOIL method gihapon mo ng numerator, mo arrive gihapon of the same answer, x minus 9. So x minus 9 ang denominator, then square root of x plus 3. Yan. Naay makancel? Di ba naay makancel? Yan. Makancel. So ang naiwan, 1 over square root of x plus 3. This time, you can substitute the value of x. Again, you can substitute the value of x, which is 9. So 1 over square root of 9 plus 3. So 1 over square root of 9 is 3. So 3 plus 3, the answer is 1 over 6. And that's the answer. So yan yung process. Okay, so kapisa before we will proceed to our last example. Okay, so for our next example ito, this example also still conjugation. Our x is 0. Substitute our x which is dito na 0. So maging 0 ang denominator. So direct substitution is not applicable. Okay? Again, direct substitution is not applicable. So, and also factorization. Factorization dito, hindi siya ma-apply. nothing to be factored out man din. Again, in this example, nothing nothing to be factored out. So, in that case, since wala may ma-factor, you can perform conjugation. Again, you can perform conjugation. So, kung si x ang ato i-conjugate, wala man, di man pwede, murag lain man. So, si numerator na lang, bira ato i-conjugate. Ano ba itong conjugation? The same terms but opposite sign. Again, the same terms but opposite sign. Ingon ka sir, the same terms but opposite sign. Anong plus man gihapon eh? Plus term man siya term, kaning man ang dapat. Kaning tunga dapat ang ma-change. Ang isa minus, ang isa plus. Kani, don't touch because nasa isang term kasi yan siya. Nasa isang term yan siya. So do not change. Ang i-change lang kanilang the sign between the two terms. Term, term. So change. So you have here multiply square root of x plus 1 minus 1 square root of x plus 1 plus 1 over x times square root of x plus 1 plus 1. Multiply using the technique. This is a concept of sum and difference. Again, this is a concept of sum and difference. Parehas. 1, 1 parehas. Ang kaibahan lang isa ang isa plus, ang isa minus. So that's the concept of sum and difference. So multiply. So you have square root of x plus 1 times square root of x plus 1. You have the square, then x plus 1 square, then negative times positive, negative, then minus 1 over x times square root of x plus 1 plus 1. The answer of this one is you have x plus 1 minus 1 over x times x square root of x plus 1 plus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So you have x over x times square root of x plus 1 plus 1. Add na ay makancel? Makancel ang x. So naiwan 1 over square root of x plus 1 plus 1. Substitute. The value of our x is 0. The value of our x is 0. So you have 1 over square root of 0 plus 1 plus 1. So the answer we have 1 plus 1, 1 half. Okay? The answer is 1 half. So copy. So ingana ka-complicated ang conjugation. So laban lang yan complicated. Singot itong
Hindi ka mag-lunch. Nag-order ng inasal. Wala ka ng
Abot mo mas
gulay? Katong vegetable. Nasa na idol ay so wala na yan.
Okay? So, actually, singot kay ko diri ngayon, kasi lang, lumalaban. Pero igang ka, wala giyon ang aircon. Class, don't worry. Nako isad nga PDF sa solution. Kanya akong i-discuss ganina o kani karon na nakasolve na siya. Dara. And don't worry also, I will provide more examples pa. Yeah? Especially sa conjugation of factorization. Again, magbigay pa ako ng another example for conjugation and factorization para engage kayo into more examples. Okay, so that's all. Thank you so much for listening and please answer ang practice test ninyo ha. Mora ni ang content sa practice test ninyo. Ang akong i-discuss karon ay nga nila ang content sa practice test. So that's all.